Hello and welcome to Imperator Rome, Development Diary number 5. It's Monday and that means there is another development diary, so how about we go and have a look at it and see what we can glean from the information imparted to us. So here we go. Imperator Dev Diary number 5. Hi and welcome to the 5th development diary for Imperator. This time we delve into the population mechanics, and before I go on, pops are one of the things that I think a lot of people are really excited about. And I don't think it's in the kind of way that, I don't think a lot of people are wanting a return to Victoria 2 pops. I don't think it goes that far. People just like the idea of pops because they are more authentic, let's say, than a kind of just a flat development system. But anyway, let's move on. So, each individual pop has its own religion, culture, and happiness. Fantastic. So yes, there are minorities in Imperator. Beautiful. While there are ways to increase the happiness of pops, including ideas, inventions, and access to trade goods, they tend to be less happy if they're not of the same culture group, or if they belong to a different religion. Happiness impacts two things on the pop. First of all, pop's happiness directly affects how productive they are. Secondly, low happiness increases unrest in the city. 4 different types of pops in the game. Citizens provide research and commerce income. These represent the patricians and nobility in monarchies. Freemen provide manpower. The plebs is included in this group. The plebs were citizens, but whatever, moving on. Tribesmen, these provide a tiny amount of manpower and tax income. These are the barbarians or uncivilized parts of your areas. And slaves, these provide tax income. Okay, fair enough. How do you get more pops in a city? First of all, there is a single pop, either in growth or decline, depending on the population growth of the city. When this pop is fully grown or totally dead, either a current pop is picked for death, or a new random pop is created that will slowly grow. Okay, so pops are a bit like Stellaris then, whereas there is no... It's an abstract, basically. It's not a one pop is this amount of people. It's your country has this many pops, and these pops grow or decline, blah, blah, blah. But, yeah, there's no, once you hit 10,000, let's say, citizen pops in Rome, then we will increase the number by 1. Kind of thing. It's completely flat, and then when it gets to a break point, you get an extra pop. Let's hope that's moddable. Let's just hope it's moddable. Terrain civilization value, which is this number here, the 61 by the, I don't know what even this building would be called, but yeah, this is the civilization value. The amount of pops in the city and access to trade goods impact the growth of a city. Okay, fair enough. Secondly, you can also gain pops through warfare. As you sack cities, you will take some of their pops back to your main capital and your provincial capitals as slaves. Not a lot of people are realizing provincial capitals. Is that not a lot of people are talking about it. Because to be honest, a lot of the comments are slightly less than positive. But yeah, you'll have provincial capitals, and I guess that might mean that each area has, a bunch of cities in it, and then maybe each area has its own capital. Perhaps something like that, I'm not sure yet. One other aspect of conquest is that when a city formally becomes yours, citizens become freemen and freemen become slaves. So basically you liberate the slaves of your enemies and then turn them into slaves. Interesting mechanic, okay. If you need more citizens or freemen of your pops, you can always promote pops to a higher class of society, where promoting a slave or tribesman into freeman currently has a base price of 10 religious power. And promoting freemen to citizens costs 10 oratory power. So, mana. Yay. Okay, if you permanently want to increase a pop's happiness, you can always spend some religious power to convert them to the state religion. So, religious conversion doesn't seem to happen on a province by province basis, or I guess in this would be city by city basis, it's per pop. That's okay. I'm actually okay with that part. We'll talk a fair bit more about pops in the development diary about colonization and internal movement later on. Thank fuck for that. I want more talk about pops. Pops are the big thing in Imperator for me. Like I say, I'm quite enamored with Mayo and Taxes and Imperium Universalis, and basically any mod that adds populations and gets rid of the very static and, in my opinion, quite boring development system in EU4. Of course, any modder can define how many pop types they want and what they're used for freely. Here's an example of the Freeman pop type. So you can say how much manpower it's got, how it can promote, how it can demote. I'm hoping there's a lot more things you can do with them, and this is just an example. Like you can add a lot more calls here, like can promote to and can demote to, maybe promotes over time to kind of thing. I would like to see that kind of dynamic pop changing thing going on. Another cool modding aspect is that everything costs power. Yay, that's cool. Manpower money use the same price mechanic internally, so you can base everything on money if you so desire. Yeah, I think I might just do that. Here is a few scripts from the price database. So, Freeman promotion is religious equals 10. Assault, is that like assaulting walls? Manpower and military? Okay. Send gifts is scaled gold. Scaled gold. Scaled gold. Okay, are we going CK2 kind of gift system? Where your gifts scale with the, I guess, the income of the receiver? Because that's what scaled gold says to me. Okay. So, alright, so that's the development diary, and as you can see here, we got 22 likes. I'm actually going to refresh this page because I don't know if that's accurate anymore. Okay, 102. But look at this. 56 dislikes. Right then. 56 dislikes is a quite large number. It is a very divisive development diary, and while there are things in the development diary itself that I disagree with, mostly, you know, related to the pops, I think that disagreement comes from the responses that Johan has given in the comments. So I've put this onto show developer comments only, so if we scroll down we can see what he's replying to. Apparently there was a mistype thing, or he missed a part out that he was supposed to put there. But here we go. So let's read this. This doesn't really make sense to me. Obviously the pop types are based on the history of the Roman Republic, so I'm talking about it here. Firstly, citizens of the Republic were not really the taxpayers, especially the plebs. They were a drain on the Roman economy, but they were required for military service until Marian's reform. In the game, they should provide the most manpower for the military. Also, it's true that freedmen were used in the military, but they also served as businessmen, bureaucrats, and educators, which is a complicated role in the Republic, but in my opinion, they should be paying taxes and making research points, and maybe some other kinds of benefits. Slaves aren't really paying taxes as well, they just provide agriculture or mining products, which this game represents as trade goods. We'll see how it works next week though. This system doesn't really fit the Greek city-states too, but I'm on the phone so I'll get it here. Manually upgrading pops also sounds like a lot of left clicking, which is painful. This is something I absolutely agree with. And he just says here, citizens are patricians, nobles, and freemen are plebs and freemen. Which it seems didn't go over too well. Yeah. So yeah, there's a lot of things that Johan said here that people are not agreeing with, and I'm going to go back to all that stuff first. But first, I want to talk about this screenshot. I realize I should have said this first. So on here, we can see that obviously we've got the civilization value, but what are these? I don't know. I'm thinking this might be, does a city have walls? This might be the garrison or the garrison quality. This could be actually the garrison, or the manpower of the city. It could be a lot of things, but being at 0 for Leontini, I'm not too sure what's going on there. But if we have a look here, we can see Leontini is here in just north of Syracuse in Sicily, and we can see that it has culture Syracusan, which is something also that might be of interest to people. But yeah, let's go back down into these comments. This one's very interesting. Do pops slowly promote to higher classes like they had in EU Rome? No. That says to me that the only way you can upgrade your pops, so slaves to freemen, freemen to citizens, blah blah blah, is clicking buttons. And God, I hate that. I hate that so much. Ah, God, I can't. Why? So basically, if you have a large empire or a large republic or whatever, a large nation, and you want more freemen or you want more of something, you have to go through each and every single one of your provinces to upgrade your dudes. Why not have it dynamically grow? Like, there's some comments here that I've picked out that I'll show you in a moment that really kind of delve into the reasons for some certain things and what it should be and people's ideas on it. And you should just basically have a look at the like to dislike ratio on all of these. I mean, look at this. 77 to 6. Do pops slowly assimilate into the state religion or culture? No. Can we culture convert by spending mana? No. So that says to me, there is no culture conversion at all in the game. The culture of Leontini, going back to the screenshot above, the culture of Leontini is Syracusan. It will forever be Syracusan. Actually, there's one thing I did think about. Is it somewhere here? Can we move pops from one city to another? Yes. Maybe that's how culture conversion, with inverted commas, works, by moving, say, all of the Syracusan pops out of Leontini and moving in Roman pops. So basically that'd be incredibly manual tedium, but that would be like colonizing provinces you already own with your own pops. Oof. No cooldown on population conversion, so you can just like click, 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 click. 40 to 3. I'm going to refresh this page as well, because this is a different page. Oh, Jesus. 89 to 6. 47 to 4. Can we move pops from one city to another? Yes. Apparently that's agreed with. Yeah, that's fine. Will the name of the pops change according to culture? It won't change by culture. So, 59 to 1. So basically that means that... so in Rome, citizens should be called plebs, for example, but they won't be. Instead, they're just going to be called, freemen or citizens or blah blah blah. And that would be, if that was to change, that would be a nice way around it. Of course, it would be more work, but I think it's. Let's hope that this is moddable. Again, there's a lot of things here that I'm thinking. Let's hope this is moddable. Is civilization value? Yep, that's what we've already seen. Adding pop types will not require modding the UI, but rather just generating another entry in a scrollable list. Yes, okay. God damn it, Paradox, why are you so obsessed with mana? Because it's a great mechanic and the best feature from Vicky 2. I feel like at this point when he wrote this, he was just kind of getting annoyed at the comments. Like, I'm only showing you developers' comments. I'm going to show you some people's comments to the dev diary in a moment. A lot of them are negative about the pop system, and again, I'm being quite negative about the pop system as well. And I really, really don't want to be negative because I love pop systems. I'd say disappointment is probably the best word to sum up how I'm feeling about it. But yeah, I think he's getting annoyed at the negativity, and he's sort of biting back here because people are hating on mana or monarch power or whatever you want to call it, and complaining about the very static, lifeless way that Imperator Rome seemingly does pops. And he's having a dig at people that want Vicky 2 style pops. I don't want Vicky 2 style pops. I just want dynamic populations. And there we go, 54 to 12. And here, this is a reply to... which one is it? This one here. That's a reply to here, basically asking if If this is the case, why not just call them what they are instead of obfuscating the naming? And it's apparently a legacy decision. Again, massive dislike to like ratio. Ugh, okay. Moving on. This is just another one of the screenshots. This was the screenshot that was shared yesterday on Twitter, the teaser, and it just shows a little bit more of the surrounding, UI for the screen. So, happiness spelled wrong, of course. So basically, we can see this one here is the trade good, or maybe this will bring you to the trade good thing if this is a button. This is probably the terrain. We've got the civilization. 1 for this. I've got to say it must be fort level, perhaps. 1,000 could be garrison. I still am struggling to think what this could be. But also we can see over here, we've got the same kind of, occupation system as we have in EU4. Although the diagonals are changed the other way around, so I guess that's different. 0 of 3, I guess this is trade routes out of Roma. Fair enough. Anything else we can see from here? Not much. I mean, Hellenic, this is obviously the qualifier of religion and then qualifier of culture. Hellenic Romans, Hellenic Etruscans, Hellenic Umbrians. 12 slaves, 101% output, gives us this much. No tyranny, blah blah blah. Also we can see a few of the different city names, I guess, in this province. Okay, fair enough. Alright, moving on. So this is on Reddit, and basically, again, complaining about the pops. And does Johan understand why people love pops? And yes, he does go very hard into the Vicky 2 kind of, this is why I like pops here. I love pops because Vicky 2 experience, which pops are fluid, dynamic, and detailed. And again, I would agree with that. I mean, the pops in Vicky 2 weren't something that you absolutely had to focus on and micro down to the very minutest detail. And they were also quite basic in that you knew what kind of pops you wanted, and there was a meta there, and you never really strayed from the meta unless you were trying something wacky. Again, I don't want Vicky 2 pops. I don't think we need like 12 different pop types. I just want them to be dynamic. This part here, fluid, dynamic, and detailed. That's what I want. I want every pop to have its own religion and culture, which it does. I want each pop to grow and die dynamically. If say there's a siege, I want my population to be, slaughtered in the siege. I want every time I raise some units up, like say I get some infantry from a certain province, I want that province to, feel the impact of those troops going to war. I just don't see that. I don't see that, and I know that this game is gonna be very mod friendly. I'm not really at liberty to say how much. I guess that's a wrong way to say it, but yeah, it's gonna be very, very mod friendly. I'm just gonna put it like that. And I'm just hoping that it's gonna be mod friendly enough for us to have these pops reach their full potential. But yeah, you can read through this if you like. But what I found interesting here is Johan's reply here. So, Vicky 2's pop system was fun for simulation, but made for a poor game, and also had insane scaling problems. I know there's a group of people who love Vicky 2, but Imperator is not a sequel to Vicky, it's a sequel to Rome. Yes, I agree with all that entirely. But I don't think what's his name, Cools or Johan really gets it. I don't think either of them get why pops are a big thing. And yes, Vicky had pops, and yes, it was the sort of standout feature of it. But it's the why people like pops, not just they like these pops, therefore we want these pops elsewhere. It's we like what these pops represent, and we want to see that representation, not necessarily those pops in the other games, because that representation of depth is important in a historical title. And then some of the replies here. Making a sequel to Rome doesn't mean doing the same mistakes like the absurd Roman pop representation. Keeping the same classes for legacy to EU Rome feels to me like a suicide move, especially when Rome wasn't a very successful game. I'm very invested about this because I find simulating the Romal social classes badly is worse than not having them at all. Yeah, okay. But I'll put a link to this and obviously the dev diary as well in the description. But like I said, I'm just kind of disappointed. Really, the last two dev diaries have not been the hype machines that the dev diaries are supposed to be. But anyway, moving on. Some of the comments that I was talking about. Clicking on a pop to convert it magically is way more tedious and less immersive. Again, I massively agree. I'm just going to quickly agree with that. There we go. Yeah, so how are dying pops chosen? Is it completely random, or does the player have some influence in it? Do we add and remove cultures by moving entire populations around? Sounds tedious and not very immersive. This is what I was saying here. Is that how we culture convert a place? By moving our own pops there? Ugh. Yeah, next one. We have here. What would be cool if there was somewhat distinct types of manpower that each class generated, which allowed for the recruitment of semi-unique unit types. I found this idea really, really cool. I know Rome is the prime example of this, but it happened in many other cultures of the time period as well. Citizens generate manpower which could be used for elite heavy infantry, triarii, or equivalent. Heavy infantry with more base morale but more expensive to maintain, and the cavalry unit should only be able to recruit it from the citizen manpower, as was pretty much par for the time period. Yeah, I mean, the cavalry for Rome, if you go and play Rome 2, and I'm not for a moment suggesting that Rome 2 is an accurate representation of Rome in this time period. Absolutely not. Please don't make that mistake of thinking that's what I'm saying. But if you have a look at Rome 2 and see what their cavalry is called, it's equites. And what were the equites? They were the sort of nobility class in Rome. And I mean, Rome is the nation, not the actual city. But yeah, the equites were like the nobility, the aristocrats kind of thing. The cavalry was made up of noblemen. And yeah, whatever. Just thought that was an interesting thing. Slaves generate manpower, which would be used for auxiliary units. Cheaper to maintain, but lower base morale. If I had some more time to think about it, I'm sure I could come up with a way to implement blah, blah, blah. Yes. Alright, next one that I want to show you. Again, 50 agreement points. I don't like the idea of manual promotion either. Yep, me neither. It sounds very micromanagement heavy and non-immersive when you consider the historical scenario. At least it shouldn't be the only way to promote pops. Instead, it should run alongside the natural promotion to motion of mechanics of pops. Fuck yes, agree with that. Think about how social mobility is achieved with the classical era. Slaves could buy their freedom with their savings. This practice was confirmed to exist in Rome and Greece, but banished in Athens. So in terms of the game, a slave pop with wealth could promote itself into the freeman class. This promotion can be a long process with the speed affected by laws, pop wealth, etc., just like the current pop growth mechanics. Yes. We knew of a specific way for citizens and freemen to demote into slave historically, debt slavery. And I want to just quickly point out, this is not historical, but did any of you ever watch the series Spartacus? The new one, not the old movie. It's fantastic, by the way, but you should definitely watch it. But there's an example of this debt slavery in Spartacus. I can't remember the character's name, but he was played by Jai Courtney, the guy who played Bruce Willis's son in that shitty Die Hard movie. Yeah, Jai Courtney was his character. Became a gladiator because of debt slavery. And that's completely irrelevant, but I just wanted to point that out, because that's what I immediately thought of when I read this. It's abolished in Rome, but existed in many other classical societies, so a free pop could end up demoted into slavery because of bankruptcy, just like in Vic 2, when bankrupt pop always have sharp demotion rate. Of course, you can abolish debt bondage with a law passed in the Senate. This is what I hope for, passing or repealing laws to affect the promotion-demotion rate. Oh, yes. Augustus passed a law to control the amount of slaves you can free for once, and that sounds like what you would want to do late in the game. And control the dynamic pops in a grand scale. Instead, we've got static pops with only micromanagement mana the only way to affect their status. I'm just going to quickly agree with that, and that's jumped up to 59. I got all of these screenshots, not screenshots, but pages open a while ago, so these are a little bit outdated, but yeah, you can just see how heavy the liked ratio is on the replies that are negative. It's kind of crazy. Alright, next one I want to show you. I was very excited when it announced that Imperator Rome would return to pop mechanics, but after reading the latest dev diary on pop, I'm disillusioned. I discussed a lot with other Paradox game fans and reached the same conclusion that Johan doesn't understand why people are excited about pops and what people want from a pop system. Speaking for myself, I love pops because Vicky 2 experience. I'm fairly sure this is the same guy as the guy on Reddit. I had a link to post on Reddit. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, this is the same guy as on Reddit. Yeah, 58. Let's have a look. 67. 66, right. This one as well. Some things that worry me. The way mana points growth with the new territories will probably be a non-linear relation, with territories not granting more mana points per se. So again, we would need to maximize mana point gains like in EU4, and expanding too quickly will probably leave you at a disadvantage. However, what it is imply here that bigger empires are worse at conversion, as you can suppose that religious powers have other use, is simply ridiculous. Yep, agree with that. Manual promotion seems to be micro-hell. Dynamic ways of population promotion should be introduced, yes. With slaves leaving slavery becoming an important tension in the Roman Empire, as slavery wasn't sustainable in the long run. Same with religion. The ruler of a nation shouldn't need to use his magic spells to brainwash people. I'm not saying that manual control should be removed, but that it should be complemented. Yes, basically a lot of the complaints, I don't know if complaint is really applicable here. A lot of the feedback is what you've shown us is fine, but we need dynamic systems as well. We want that dynamism. We want there to be some part that we don't have to micromanage. We want to see the world be alive. Because if the world only reacts to what you are using your mouse to click on, then the world is not alive. The world is... Your nation is not alive. Your nation is being micromanaged by an all-powerful deity, the player. I need to feel that my nation is alive without my influence as well. And that's why I love Mayo and taxes. And that's why I'm very disappointed in what I'm seeing here. Alright, next. Problem with manual pop promotion is one of micromanagement tedium. We're talking about hundreds of cities here after all. And then he had a reply. I'm sure you won't have enough mana to go on a promotion spree in any case. Yeah, well there's another problem right there. To simulate what should be a dynamic system, you would have to spend arse loads of mana points, magic bullshit points, to change your population around. And that's gonna put you back in other areas. So, I mean, if we were to go back and have a look at what pops change with what things, like oratory points for changing freemen into citizens. You want a lot of your freemen to become citizens, you're going to fall behind on your oratory points. And the oratory points are the ones, if I remember correctly, that you use for getting technologies. Or inventions, I think he called them. Yeah. Moving on. And then here. People still think this is Project Victoria 3. This is a comment that was a little while up. But why would you be surprised that a game that is EU Rome 2 in all but name would have more in common with EU Rome than with Victoria 2? If the EU series isn't your thing, fair enough. This game probably isn't either. Don't buy it with the real Victoria 3. Basically, this is an... I don't want to say apologist, but that seems like the most accurate thing, because he's replying to a comment. Let's just read the reply and then I'll go and find the comment. Thing is, it isn't more like EU Rome, is it? In Rome, pop promotion or demotion happened gradually depending on the policies that were in place. Dynamic pop systems in the previous game, which is a system I suspect people who aren't happy with the new one would have preferred. Absolutely. Manual instant action over pops only happened through conquest and by starting a colony, which seemed like a direct actions of a government of the time could have taken, whereas central government in Rome spending abstraction points to make 100 slaves change their religion in Cordoba didn't seem realistic or to me engaging. Yeah, I'm just going to quickly agree with that. You're up to 19. Good job. Yeah, so let's have a look at this comment here. Are you loading the page? Hopefully. Really? Come on. Come on. Is it because I've got it set to the wrong kind of responses? Are we on the first page? Yeah, we are. Ah, fuck it. Never mind then. Yeah, so let's just move on. So we're on the 7th of 8 pages. I do believe monarch points as an abstraction of administrative ability. Words. Why can I not read today? I believe that monarch points as an abstraction of administrative ability is a good mechanic, and the fact it's not used for technology in this game, it is, removes my main complaint about it. My main issue with the pop system revealed here is that these interactions require monarch power, but rather that these things seemingly only happen if you choose to spend your power here, among undoubtedly countless other actions. It's the issue of your empire not feeling alive when you play it, as I said previously. Nothing changes unless you make it happen. That living sim feeling is something I believe Paradox fans enjoy about your games compared to other gamey strategy games on the market. I'm really wondering why Paradox still hasn't picked up on that. It's quite obvious with the appreciation for mods like Mayon taxes for EU4. Now, I'm not completely pessimistic since we do have automatic prop growth, which does provide that feeling. No, it doesn't. So good job on that. I think people here may expect something similar and organic for culture, religion, and pop promotion. Other problems, micromanagement, yeah. Legacy is, in my opinion, a lazy reason to keep the same terminology. Yep, agree with that. Why exactly does the general population provide only manpower and nothing else? People don't contribute to the economy unless they're forced into slavery? Yeah. And then, again, talking about the terminology with citizens and freemen. Citizens and freemen are overlapping. Citizens, personal with legal rights and obligations of a Roman civitas or Greek polis. In the Roman sense, this includes Roman citizens of the Populus Romanus, who initially just lived at Roma Urbs, so in Rome. Roman citizens include patricians and plebeians, senators, equites, and everyone else. Freeman, not a slave, includes both citizens and non-citizens. I don't know. I'm not a historian that has any... Well, I'm not a historian at all, but I don't know, and you know, he's got some disagreement points. So I don't know if what he's saying is right or if it's wrong, or I don't know. I can't confirm either way or the other. But that's another talk about the different, citizen types, or civilian types, maybe you could call it. And then back to the beginning. So yeah, that's the development diary. Final words. I'm just a little bit disappointed, disillusioned. But mods, I think, will be the saving grace. And it seems like Paradox probably knows that a lot of people are going to be wanting to mod this because they've made it. I mean, this and the previous development diary both had a thing at the end with, oh yeah, and mods can do this. And that shows that they give a shit about mods, and they give a shit about the community that likes mods, of which I am absolutely a part of. I don't think I've played an unmodded EU4 or a Paradox game in general in quite a long time. Even my vanilla-ish series both have mods, so they care about the modding community, and that's good. That's a positive. But for the base game, just make it dynamic. Just make it dynamic. Make it so that pops can promote and demote organically. Make a pop worth something. Say that a pop is this amount of people. Show me in a tooltip when I mouse over it how many people that pop is. Instead of having a 0.42% is gained, say every month so many more people grow to adulthood, right? That would make it feel more alive. 0.42% of a citizen doesn't feel alive. That doesn't feel organic. That doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good. Like, that's another complaint that people have about Stellaris, that the pops, they don't feel anything for them because they're just things on a screen. And it grows at a certain amount of food a month or whatever. It doesn't feel alive. It doesn't feel dynamic. It doesn't feel engaging. It doesn't... Every month, 420 citizens grow to adulthood. And currently, we're at... you can't really see behind the tooltip at all. But say there's 32 citizens. And at the moment, there is 32,464. Something like that. Just something. Make the game feel like you're simulating a country instead of playing a game. Because this is gamey. Clicking a button to improve your pops or demote your pops, that's gamey. I don't want gamey. I want to feel like I'm running Rome. I want to feel like I'm running Carthage or Greece or Sparta or boy. This just feels like a game. Anyway, I'm gonna end it there. So sorry again. Wow, 35 minutes. It's been a long one, so I apologize for that. But yeah, those are my thoughts on Development Diary number 5, and I think this is again going to be another controversial video. But anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you did, feel free to click the like button. Please, please, please leave your comments below. Let me know your thoughts. Do you agree with me? Do you want more dynamic pop systems? What are your thoughts on this Development Diary? Again, the links will be in the description, so you can go and read all of this yourself. And yeah, I'd be very interested to know if you agree with me. I want to know what, like, my community, if I have a community, what the fuck am I talking about? The people who watch my videos. I mean, I do a lot of Mayo and Taxes content, and Mayo and Taxes is generally the most popular content on my channel. And the other game I've got going on right now, Imperium Universalis, also has pops. So I'd say the demographic of people that follow my channel are going to be people that like that dynamic population, world feeling alive kind of business, right? So I feel like I'm going to get people that agree with me here. But if you're not from my channel and you're watching this, let me know your thoughts specifically. Tell me if you're not subscribed or if this is the first video you've watched of mine. I would like to know your thoughts. But anyway, I'm going to leave it here now. So thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.